Well, I've mentioned it quite a few times over the last
What?
60 some odd podcasts or whatever. I think I've mentioned Peter Jackson's Dead Alive multiple times. And
Yes.
here we are, finally doing it. I don't believe Gene has ever seen it before, and so I'm interested to hear what he has to say. But it came out in 1992.
Yeah.
Obviously, Peter Jackson is now known as the Lord of the Rings guy.
Yep. LOTR. Yeah.
But this is his third film ever. And I think this is actually, if you're really into Peter Jackson movies, this is the film where he really started to develop his style and is his most accomplished of his early films. With all that said, though, let's see if Gene hates it.
I wouldn't use the word accomplished. I don't know. Accomplished, you think things like The Godfather. Yeah. But this movie's just great. Great. There's this part. I'm going to play it right now. I'm going to play it. Yeah. This sounds like a horror movie. And then the priest
Devil is amongst us. Stay back, boy. This calls for divine intervention.
And then this priest comes out of nowhere. We saw him before, and there's this horde of zombies, and he just tears them up with this expert karate black belt moves. This guy is just fantastic. This movie is just horror comedy all the way. This movie's great. Yeah. I don't know why I haven't seen it already. This movie is it just keeps moving. It's just Peter Jackson, our friend. He it seems like there was a set like there in some mountains in New Zealand or something, and it just seems like very familiar. It's like, oh, haven't we been here before? Yeah, and I think we have, because Lord of the Rings, I think, was shot there. But this movie is just so funny, like that part with the priest, and then there's so many scenes that are just beyond great, and you're just laughing just out loud as much as you would be at any comedy movie. But this movie definitely has it's not scary on any level, but yeah, Peter Jackson doesn't hold back. There's just bones breaking, the flesh falling off bodies. There's this big 40-foot naked woman at the end, and yeah, it's just crazy. Yes, this movie is super funny, and yeah, there's a little plot twist at the end, but it's still
right.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
The basic premise is the film starts with this expedition. They're recovering this Sumatran rat monkey, which infiltrated the island off of a boat. It was kind
of remind me of arachnophobia a little bit.
Well, and I just love the fact that the zookeeper at one point is explaining the origin of the rat monkey, and he's like, well, all these rats came off this cargo ship and they raped all the monkeys, and that produced the rat monkey. And so anyway, the rat monkey is horrendously dangerous, but for some reason
it can reach out of the bars of the zoo and grab people, and it does, and it bites this woman.
Right. If it scratches you or bites you, you end up dying, but then coming back as a zombie. But of course, the dying process is very gloopy and gloppy.
Right. Yep.
And so anyway, what we're dealing with is a zombie comedy kind of film, way over the top. Peter Jackson does not spare the outrageous blood sprays and
layers of love story
kind of
over
stuff.
This thing. Yeah.
Right. And it's a pleasant film, I think, to experience, because I really enjoyed that actress who plays Paquita.
The love interest.
Yeah. And like how she sets him up early, where she has a little bit difficulty with the English language. And she ends up getting him to take her to the zoo on a date, and
Just and he's this really shy guy. He's traumatized by his mom, and you learn why he's traumatized at the end of the movie.
Yeah, his mom is overly domineering, and
I'm going to play my favorite part of the movie for you.
Well, we're going to get another clip, even though you can't see it. You will only be able to hear it.
Yes, again with the priest. The whole thing with the priest is just
well. And I told Gene that I loved the priest the most.
Evil is amongst us. Stay back, boy. This calls for divine intervention.
Yeah, he's just tearing them up. People are.
I kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah, I kick ass for the Lord.
And it was because it's
Classic.
it's so out of nowhere that this priest just
Out of
happens
nowhere.
to be a Bruce Lee level martial artist.
Oh yeah,
you know.
yeah. Bruce Lee, yeah, times 5, and he just destroys these zombies.
But
But finally, there's just too many of them. You know, it's just one guy.
well, he decapitates so he pulls the whole Monty Python and the Holy Grail scene on one of the zombies where he removes both his arms, kicks his legs out.
Yes, and it's just a stump.
Yeah, then
Right.
kicks his head off, and the head goes up in the air, and then ends up coming back down and biting him on the shoulder as he's beating up that other guy.
Right, because they don't really die. There's a little bit of the zombies in this one are like The Walking Dead. Is that they're each part of them is endued with life force, if you will. Yeah, and so the severed heads can still bite you.
Right. Well, and even there's the whole innards monster that's running around.
Yes,
you know,
yeah. There's an intestines
lungs
that comes to
and
life and tries to choke out the protagonist. Yeah. So,
Yeah, but
Yep.
again, just comedic levels of gore here. If you've seen the film before, you know what I'm about to talk
Yeah.
about. But the ending set piece, where there's this big party going on.
Yeah,
And-
and it seems like one of the major antagonists there, he wants this protagonist's uncle. He wants to steal the house, and he has a big party. And I think it might be the same guy that was in Strictly Ballroom.
I wouldn't
Fear.
know anything about that.
It is not a horror movie, but he seems. But I didn't bother to look it up because why?
You're right.
But he seems like I've seen him before,
Yeah,
and it would be Strictly Ballroom.
but
But yeah, that's just that guy. He gets it in the end. It's just, and the whole scene. He brings all his friends into this house, and there's this huge party, zombies all over, because they all turn into zombies, right? But then the protagonist guy, I forget his name.
it's Lionel.
Lionel, yeah. He gets a lawnmower and he straps it to his chest. He turns it on. And of course, they're spinning blades right in front of you. How could you not win? So, he reduces the whole zombie horde into severed limbs and, yeah, just pools of
Well,
blood
and just
all over the place.
amount of gore just all over that
Oh,
character
gore.
is it's hilarious.
Yeah, there's this one scene where he's trying to run away from them, but there's just so much blood on the floor. He just, he's running in place for, 30 seconds.
right, and then
But it works. It's just funny. It
yeah,
works.
and the level even goes higher than that as far as comedy when two of the zombies are romantically involved. They have sex.
Oh yeah,
and
they
then
do.
There's a zombie
yeah.
baby.
and then they make a zombie baby. But the zombie baby just the gestation period is 10 minutes.
10 minutes, right?
And the zombie baby comes up with teeth, and it's just good. And there's this whole sequence where Lionel takes the zombie baby, puts him in a little carriage, takes him to the park.
He's got barbed wire over the front
And
of
he
it.
puts barbed wire around the kid so he doesn't get out. But of course, the baby carriage falls over, and all the other moms in the park are aghast at this guy.
Well, and as he's punching it in the face.
Yeah, he puts the baby. The baby's coming after him. He hits the head with the swing, and he picks him up with his legs, and he throws him around like this rag doll thing.
Yeah.
It's just so funny.
It's just, yeah, and that's the thing.
It's just gold.
You know, take away the fact that it's so over the top. This would be horrifying, but it's done for comedy, and it's
Yeah,
super
it
effective,
just works. Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And so if you want a blood-soaked, in a good way, horror comedy, this one is definitely way up on the list.
Oh yeah, it just doesn't try to have much of a plot, but it has enough of a plot. It makes sense. Yeah. Peter Jackson puts his foot on the gas, and he
Yes.
just doesn't let up.
Well,
The
and you've
whole
talked about
movie.
that. Yeah, you've talked
Yeah.
about that before, where if you're going to go for it, you need to go for it and just keep your foot
Yeah,
on the
and
gas.
he goes for it. Yeah.
And there's about 3 minutes of setup, and then the gas pedal's on
They're
the floor.
he just goes, and stuff like this, like the priest and the baby, and Lionel takes the baby to the park and then just beats him up.
Well, and
ends up putting him in a duffel bag,
right.
and he's punching the duffel bag, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's all
Great.
good stuff. But talking about it being Peter Jackson's most accomplished film to that point, I don't know if you've seen Bad Taste or Meet the Feebles. Have you seen those? Okay, those are the two that preceded this one, both of which are great. But this is the one where he's really starting to move the camera more fluidly. There's a lot of great camera movements and shots in this that you maybe weren't seeing in the other two films. And so you could kind of see and track the progression of him just as an overall filmmaker with the way he sets a lot of the scenes here and the camera movements especially. So a lot of what you maybe see in Lord of the Rings kind of began being practiced with here in Dead Alive, which, by the way, is only known as Dead Alive in America. It's called Brain Dead everywhere else.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I believe the story is...
Is it New Zealand or... It's New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
New Zealand,
But I believe when it was imported to this country, there was some problem with the title Brain Dead because some other movie had that title or something, and so it's Dead Alive
Dead
now.
Alive here.
And it's also edited here in America by about 4 minutes, I think, because the actual runtime, I think, is 104 minutes, and I think the American cut is 97.
What could you possibly take out?
I have a feeling they took out some additional exposition. Because
just get with it.
Yeah, and so it was, because us Americans, we ain't got time for any sort
Americans
of...
are dumb. We're dumb.
Yeah, get right to the goods and go for it.
Yeah, the average American is not too smart.
But I think this movie compares favorably and is better than films like Zombieland and stuff, but you could have a nice night out or night at home, with a double or triple feature with Zombieland and Dead
this
Alive.
movie, Zombieland, the second one, Double Tap. I mean, I couldn't even. The other one was such a great movie, such lightning in a bottle, but then Double Tap comes along, and even from the get go, you can tell that they're trying, but they're not making it.
Yeah,
so
I
couldn't make it through the second one.
Yeah,
even though it's the same people in it, and then this movie. Yeah, it would make a great feature with Zombieland.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of fun to watch. It moves right along. I liked all the characters. The main characters. Obviously, you're supposed to not like the mother, and I didn't. She's domineering.
No, she's terrible.
And
yeah.
Of course, turns out she's also a murderer.
Yes, multiple murderer. Yes.
And
she's a killer.
But the priest, as I told Gene, I said, the priest is my favorite character. I mean, he's only the priest for like 3 minutes in this movie, but it's all gold.
Great.
And then he's a zombie.
You're not going to forget the priest ever. That guy's going to stick with you. But whenever you want to feel sad or you're depressed, you just think of the priest and you're good. He'll help you get through life's trials and torments. Yeah.
But I also think it's really cool that Peter Jackson, I think, shows that as you continue to hone your craft, you can end up being Academy Award-winning, Best Picture, Best Director, all this stuff. And you just kind of have to hone your craft and keep in the game and keep going. Because after this, he did a really good movie with Michael J. Fox called The Frighteners. Have you seen that one?
No, I'm not.
Okay. That's a really cool one. It's kind of... Peter Jackson's always kind of light and fun with his stuff, except for Meet the Feebles, which you haven't seen that one.
No.
Meet the Feebles is this really twisted take on the Muppet Show. And so it's this nasty little puppet movie where all of the puppets have significant issues.
Problems.
Right.
Okay.
And so it's a really twisted little film and actually is not very easy to find. But you might check that out sometime.
Is it horror? It sounds horror.
It's horror. I don't know if I would call it horror.
I would say drama. How could it be a drama?
It's horrific, I would say, but I don't know how much it would fit into our podcast. But it's I just think it's cool that someone like him can go through a lot of this low budget stuff, get recognized for his true talent, and then he goes on to do. Lord of the Rings. He does, the King Kong remake, which I didn't really like.
Which I didn't like. No.
Well, and the big flaw
it's just not
there.
Focused there. It's just trying to do too much.
Yep, totally. Way too long. And then again, all of these King Kong remakes make the fatal flaw of making the girl okay with King Kong. The original with Fay Wray, she didn't want to be around that big giant
Beast.
ape.
Beast,
And,
yeah.
and the 76 remake, and then now Peter Jackson's is like, no, so he really was remaking Dino De Laurentiis's version rather than the original version.
Yeah, he was definitely blended them for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but that one was just too long. But the fact is, yeah, here's $300 million from Hollywood. Go make your movie.
And he spent it.
And
Yeah,
and so and
just-
like
yeah.
Lord of the Rings. So it's really cool if you want to get some insight into the early developments of Peter Jackson. Obviously, watch Dead Alive. I'm assuming most everyone who tunes into this podcast has seen Dead Alive already. But
Well,
if you haven't,
you need to see
oh
it
my God.
tonight.
right? Yeah.
And I got it off Amazon Prime. It's $3 rental. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
So there you go. It's
Gene, what are we gonna do next week?
I don't know. After seeing this crazy movie, I don't know where can you go from here. Wait. One more scene. There's the baby scene. I have the movie downloaded on my iPad. Okay, he's in the park with the baby. Here he is. Right here. He's a little sock. There's a mom with the baby. And here he is trying to emulate that mom. 'Cause she has a normal baby.
She has a normal baby.
She's got a regular baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is not a normal baby. So,
Well, I'm glad that Gene has it downloaded on his iPad. So
Well,
you
you
can
know,
watch
it's
it anytime you want. Going
well,
forward.
you know, I didn't buy the movie. It's one of those temporary rentals that you do.
Oh,
You spend $3, you get it for
48
48 hours, right?
yeah.
And then it
disappears.
disappears into the ether. Yeah.
So, any thoughts on what we should do next?
No thoughts at all.
We will do something next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
No idea what it's going to be, but it'll be something.
It'll be something. Yeah. I wish we had better direction on that.
Nah, I kind of like the way we do it now, where it's just keep everybody in it's a cliffhanger.
It's
Who
a
knows what
cliffhanger,
we'll do
yes.
next week?
Like
So anyway, at the end of the day, Dead Alive's a total win. I don't
Complete
know if
win.
we really explained much about it, except just see it. It's awesome. We will catch you
is.
next time. Bye-bye.
Right.